Hello, friends. Wanted to take a little bit of time and have a discussion with you about one of the first week's projects. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we will get started. Okay, so to get to the assignments in the class, sign in to SWOSU. So what that looks like when you first land is just click on this Go SWOSU button. I've already been credentialed, so it'll just pop me right in. But normally you have to put in your username, which is like last name, first initial, or some combination like that. Then your password. Once you get to that, you can click over here to Canvas. Yours should look something similar to mine, and it should have, basic dashboard and sometimes a list of the stuff you're working on here on the side. Navigate to your course. And I do the same assignment for all of my courses. What we're going to work on here is the Dream Job project. I've got this opened up here. I have this due always the first week of school. And I'll talk about why right now. So the purpose of this is to make sure that you're on track for two things. The first thing we want to make sure is that you're on track for your degree. And then the second thing that we want to make sure is that you're on track for the right degree. So to make sure that you're on track for your degree, I want you to go out and grab a copy of your unofficial transcript. And to get that, you can go through your single sign-on, click on self-service. It should open up a screen. Your screen is going to look a little bit different than mine. You're probably not going to have advising and faculty, but you'll probably still have an academics. And from that, you can click on unofficial transcript, and that should open it up. What do I want you looking for? I want you looking for anything that looks funny. And what I mean by that is, did SWOSU not give you credit for something? Does it look like you have taken a class before that you're currently enrolled in now? Is there a GPA problem? Like, look at your transcript, get familiar with your transcript. That's your official academic record. And the reason that's important to me is I want to make sure that you're getting credit where credit is due. Especially if you've got any transfer credits or anything like that, double check those, make sure that they're in place. Okay. The next thing that I want you to do is grab a degree sheet. So I will grab some of the popular degree sheets. SWOSU Computer Science. I do have a lot of computer science. That's my bald head right there. Click on degree plan, and this is what our degree plan looks like. Now, there are a few things in here that I want to call your attention to. We don't actually let you take technical presentations for a GE credit. However, that is a GE course. The reason for that is if you go and look over here, we have that as a requirement for the core. And one of the rules is you can't double dip and get credit in two places for one course. Another, if this is your degree sheet, get familiar with it. I will open up my Google Sheets and I will show you one of the things that I do once I've got this that makes it make a little more sense. And this is actually the personal course plan. I start out by grabbing the list of courses. So that's here. And so like, I know I need to have English Composition 1. Well, I come over to this list, there's English Composition 1. I also need Comp 2, Speech, College Algebra, a history class. And I just make a list of all the classes that I think I'm going to need. And then what I can do is I can come in and I can say things like, fall 2022. And I can take and cut these out from this column and move it over into the semester that I'm going to take the classes. I just identify the semesters I'm going to take them. And the idea behind this is you can just start grabbing one, one class and move it over. And if you're like, oh, I can't take Comp 1 and Comp 2 in the same semester. Okay, so I've got to take Comp 2, move it to a later semester because I have to take Comp 1 first. Or you might find out things like you're like, hey, I'm going to do calculus and chemistry with the lab and biology with the lab all in the same semester. That'll get me to 12 hours. It'll be fine. Oh, that's a horrible plan. So what you're going to want to take a couple of those and move them to a different semester and get something else brought in that is more balanced load. Other degree sheets. Engineering technology is another one. Here you've got a bit longer core requirement, but notice how here they're requiring you to take technical presentations and you're not required to take speech. And so it's a slightly different program, and that's how they're getting their public speaking credit. College algebra, notice how you should be allowed to take any of these for other degrees on campus, but for engineering, technology, and computer science, you are required to take college algebra. Get familiar with this. This is kind of the rules of the road. There are a few sticking points that I want to point out. So one of the things I want to point out is in this degree, unless you take biological concepts with lab, you will not graduate. So that means if you happen to take current issues in biology, but then transferred into the engineering technology program, it's not guaranteed that you're going to graduate. Now, does that mean you can't graduate if you took current issues in biology when you transferred in? That is a question you want to ask your advisor and your department chair. But in general, I always tell people, go ahead and do a degree check. And I'll show you how to apply for a degree check right quick. So you've got a choice between schools. If you're struggling, or actually, this is just a good plan in general. If you're working on the associate's degree, anybody can get an associate's degree usually, and it puts a cap on your hours and it guarantees that if anything goes wonky before you graduate with your bachelor's degree, you've got a cap in it. And you can also, if you're looking at transferring between schools, an associate's degree will also transfer usually easier to other universities, especially in other states, than just a bunch of hours. But for the degree check application process is the same for both degrees. You just have to tell it which one you're working on. So if you're working on the bachelor's degree, click on the Weatherford degree check, and all of this is your information. And I don't have a student loaded. I guess I could try to do me, and we just won't hit submit. And I'll say, yeah, I've had a degree check before. Yes, I'm enrolled at SWOSU. And give them a made up phone, made up number, 8675309. Probably wants a real one. I'll punch in my real one. That is my cell phone number. The cell phone number is also my syllabus and also on tinyurl.com/SWOSU Jeremy. If you ever need a friend to visit with, you can give me a call. I'm not a licensed counselor, but I will be there for you and I will do my best to support you. I am my own advisor. And let's say semester, I plan to graduate May of 24, just for an example. Next thing you need to do, let's say that I enrolled through the 2020 catalog. I'm going to get a bachelor's of science and I'm going to get computer science, and I am on the data analysis plan. Yes, I plan on getting a minor, pick a minor. I'm going to pick a minor in mathematics. Cool. And then we would just click submit form, and that's how you apply for a degree check. So the course plan is more like just the Excel spreadsheet, but through the degree sheet, if you've already got a degree check, you can use a degree check instead of a degree sheet. But I still want you to come up with this plan of courses and kind of lay out for the rest of your degree what it is you're going to have to take. The sooner you do that, the sooner advising gets a whole lot easier for you. I'd also just like to know who your advisor is and when you're going to meet them. I want you to start thinking about this person that's, you know, being a partner of your life for 4 years. Who are they and what's their schedule look like? And so like some of my advisees can tell you when my office hours are, because my office hours don't work for them and they're like, ah. And so if that's something that you're aware of, then you need to think about, okay, how am I going to be able to meet with them when I need to get enrolled for classes? Okay, so the goal of that first part is, what is it going to take for you to finish this education, this degree that you're currently on? And I think that's an important question to be able to answer. And I want you to be able to answer that question this first week, because if you need to, you can still add classes up through the first week of school. And the Friday of the first week of school is usually our cutoff for adding classes. If you find out you need to take a class that you're not enrolled in so that you can be eligible for the courses you need to take next semester, one of the ways I should also show you. So one of the ways to know that is go to the SWOSU course catalog, and I'll show you something just as an example. Here's Computer Science 2. So Computer Science 2, and I know this is gonna come to a shocker as some, I'm kidding. We assume that you took Computer Science 1 first, right? Makes sense, that's why it's called Computer Science 2. So what that means is, if you haven't completed Computer Science 1 yet, then you're gonna need to take Computer Science 1 this semester so you can take Computer Science 2 next semester. And there's other classes that have prerequisites. So here's discrete structures, another class that I take. That is a hard class to pass if you've never had a programming class before. Also, we've noticed a higher success rate when we ask students to have college algebra done first. And it's been recommended that students take calculus first before they take that class. But I use a book that it says you're supposed to be able to do this with high school math, but yeah, anyway, it's a fun class, but we'll get through this together. I do work really hard to make sure that we all get through this one together. Okay. The second half of this assignment is very much getting you thinking and asking the question, are you in the right degree? So I should say, this very week, I had a student that went through, looked at their transcript, noticed that they had a class that was similar to one of my classes that they were enrolled in. And when they were looking at the degree sheet, they realized that they were basically repeating their efforts. And so they went to my boss, which is my department chair, who happened to also be their advisor, and they dropped the class. So I think it saved them close to $1,000. I think that's what it costs to take a single class. Anyway, that's a good thing. The second part, though, is related to your career. And I have also lost students here. I say, all right, put your resume together, look at it. And I always encourage students to take their resume to the writing center if it's a pretty good resume and it's got good content, but the writing center will give you ways to improve a resume. That's what they're professional writers. They can help you make it look better and at least give you a different perspective because they weren't there when you were doing the work. The next thing I want you to do a little bit of writing about is just do a paragraph or so that describes what your dream job looks like. I would like to actually have you go out and find a job posting that describes this is my dream job. And the reason I want you to do that is I want you to have a good understanding of what this degree is going to do for you. I want you to have an understanding of what this career is going to look like, what the job market like for this career looks like. And if you're like, I want to be a pet groomer for pets that play video games. And you're like, how many of those positions exist in Oklahoma? And you're like, I cannot believe there is not a position for me in every town in Oklahoma because pets that can play video games are awesome. You're not wrong. However, I haven't heard of a whole lot of job postings for that. Whereas if you're like, I want to be a software engineer in Oklahoma, well, then there's a lot more job prospects. I do want to take a little bit of time and let's just talk about some of the job search engines right quick. So Indeed is a job search engine. You can also use LinkedIn and you can do a search. So just software engineer as an example. Here's the jobs for software engineers. People you can follow, posts, see all the jobs in the United States. And then I think you can also, yeah, they have filters. And so you can look, filter for internships. You can also filter for, oh, look, they have job markets here. And so notice how Dallas, Texas is a large job market. I think on some of these, I've also been able to just do a search. So I just do a Control F and just type in Oklahoma. And if you don't find any, what I do want to point out is they have multiple pages of this. And I haven't practiced enough using this job search tool, but if you get better at it, you should be able to find jobs more easily. So there's another tool that I want to show you right quick. So in your job searching process, there's this Hoovers business information. I think hopefully it'll redirect me. What's nice about Hoovers is it's a way you can start to look for companies in the area. And so lots of different things that you can plug in for filters. And this is a tool that I'm not as familiar with, but if you want to know, let's see if we can. I want to focus on Oklahoma. And let's see, industry by name. Our browse button. This is another one of those sites. I don't, because I'm not actively searching for a job, I don't practice with it a whole lot. See if information technology pops up. I'll just click on other information services and just see what pops up. I'll click on view results. It has 495. All right. So obviously I did something wrong. They've got a bunch of libraries popping up, and those may not be the positions that we were thinking that we were going to look for. So I'm going to pop that off, and I'm going to click modify and see if I can get this to but these job search engines, there's IT security. And then I'll click view results. We'll see what this looks like. And so these are companies that have posted jobs for IT security in the past. United States Department of the Air Force, Sonic, Choctaw Nation, also Sonic. And you're like, well, the Williams Company, I've heard of that. What is that? And you click on this and it kind of gives you a feel. It's got about 2,000 employees here, but it's got almost 5,000 total. Here's your market value, which is $41 billion. Fortune 1000 rank, it's on 347, and it's up in Tulsa, right? And so this is pretty cool. And they give you a little bit more about the company. And this is one of the ways you can continue to play with this and work with this to find some of the companies you could possibly work at here in Oklahoma or wherever it is that you're looking for. There's another database that I want you to become aware of. Let's see if I can find it right quick. There we go. First Research. So let's say that we found the Williams Company. Lots of little click-throughs on this. See if I can find the Williams companies. So not a tool that I have been as familiar with. So that did not work the way that I had hoped it would. Let's just see if we can change the keyword for industry. And here are this first one is refined petroleum pipelines. And so this is something that you can kind of read about that'll help you understand what's going on here. Then they'll also have top businesses. Now, those industry forecast. This is what the revenue looks like, critical issues, business challenges, business trends. And so I'm going to come up here and see if I can go back. Let's just start over because the back button did not work. First Research. I'll do cybersecurity this time. let's see. Wonder if I used a space when I was not supposed to. All right. I'm still learning how to use these tools. Information technology services, here we go. So if you're thinking about trying to get a job in IT, software support, lots of different fun things. IT in the news and social media, quarterly industry update. 3 companies accounted for 65% of the $53 billion in global cloud service spending. So Amazon, so AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. Industry forecast. This is how the revenue is changing. Here's critical issues related to IT, business challenges. I think, if I remember correctly, call prep questions. If you're going to take a call, a phone interview, here's some interview questions you might be expected to answer. Or these are also interview questions you might be excited to ask them. So how does the company take advantage of the growth of Internet of Things? Customers and marketing. So if you're going to work maybe on the retail side, how concentrated is the company's work in regard to customers, regulations, organization and management. So these are things to help you kind of be more prepared to have a conversation on the phone and questions you should talk about. So anyway, the goal of this part is for you to actually be familiar with what you want to do. I do want to say a little bit about the timing of your job searches. So internships are a great way to start the process. Internships are a great way to get your foot in the door to gain experience and to start building your network. A full-time position is a bigger risk. An intern, I hire you, I know it's a 3-month contract. At the end of that, you're gone. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And if I like you, I can offer you a full-time position. Whereas a full-time position, if I immediately don't like you, I'm stuck with you for a longer time, and it costs me as a company a lot more to fire you. So it's easier to find internships. If you're 4 years away from graduating, what I would encourage you to do is to start applying for internships. Internships tend to fill up in the fall for summer internships. So around August, September is when you want to start applying for internships. If you can apply for an internship as a freshman, there are some internships that are going to be applicable. And if you're highly competitive for them, you might be able to get one. However, if you're not, I want you to take a look at your resume and some of these job descriptions. And I want you to think about what can you do in order to be more competitive next time around. And that's kind of what the gap analysis is here. And I want you to start thinking about what are the skill sets that you're lacking that people are not hiring you for these jobs. Now, if you are successful in finding an internship, you go out and do the internship next summer. If you're not successful finding the internship, maybe you take more classes and maybe you also work on developing your skill sets. One of the tools that you can use to work on skill sets, it timed me out. We'll go this way. One of the things, the tools that you can use is a tool called LinkedIn Learning. The advantage of LinkedIn Learning is that it's tied to your LinkedIn profile. And so I'll bring up, while we're waiting on that to spin out. There we go. So here's my LinkedIn Learning. And so we've got several courses. Let's say that you want to work in cybersecurity. So here's some cybersecurity courses. So here's the CompTIA Security Plus. Here's ethical hacking, ethical hacker, cybersecurity foundations, cybersecurity analyst, CYSA Plus. certified information privacy professional, right? And these are all classes that are through LinkedIn, and that shows up on your LinkedIn profile. I actually can't find where. You can find a list of people who have viewed your profile. So, these are students, other students, but there's also a list of companies that can come and can view your profile. They also have recommendations for us based off of our skill assessment. And so it just shows job searches that I've done within LinkedIn. They say, hey, 4 people that went to the same school that I did have gone to work here, so maybe I should go work here. But the more of these classes you pick up, the more likely that some of these employers are going to be finding you in searches. So one of the things to make your LinkedIn profile more appealing to companies you can do and make you show up in searches and make people start sending you job offers instead is start completing some of these courses. And basically what completing one of these courses says is, I'm invested in my career enough that I'm going to start taking some of these classes. Okay, so that about wraps it up for the Dream Job Project. Again, just to recap, the first half of it really is asking the question, are you on track to finish your degree? And are you on track to get the education you need? Do you need to do it? And it has to be done the first week because I need to know if you need to drop classes or anything like that. The second half of the assignment is very much more focused on, are you on track in your career? Do you know what your career field looks like? And have you started hunting for jobs? Because my goal for you is to use this time at the university to transition towards your career. And one of the easiest ways to do that is through an internship. And it makes it a lot easier if you've been successful in finding internships, it'll make it a lot easier for you to find a full-time position. And I've shown you some of the tools like Hoovers and First Research and LinkedIn. These are some of the tools you can use as part of the job search process and can help you get ready for the interview. All right. So I'm gonna, there we go. I think this is a very important thing for all of you to do the first week of school. I have had students that have completed this assignment and they're like, Jeremy, it turns out that it's computer science is not the right degree for me. I'm changing to elementary education. I've had that happen. And I'm always very happy when people find out, you know what, this is not where I need to be because these aren't the jobs I'm excited about doing. I'm excited about doing something else. I'm also very happy when students drop my class because that means I was successful in teaching you how to go out and manage your own degree. And you realized I don't actually have to do what this class, don't have to work through this class. But more often than not, I think this gives students a lot of confidence going forward that, hey, I'm going to graduate and there are jobs out there for me that I'm excited about. So with that, thank you all for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. This is something I would recommend that any student in any degree does at any point in their college education. Hope this helps. Thanks for your time and take care. Bye.